If tenuous links work, I've just remembered. Oh, I know. Let me look it up.
Frankie?
Hello, sweetheart?
Can we have a bonus poem at the end from you?
But of course, from me.
Yes.
Hey, Dina.
What is it?
Will you read When I Am an Old Woman, I Shall Wear Purple?
Oh my God, Jenny Joseph.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, absolutely I am.
How are you, Dina?
I am all right. How are you?
Oh, good. Thank you very much.
Can you hear Alan singing in the background?
Ah,
Yes.
yes.
It's charming.
Very charming. Gordon, I really like that poetry hat.
Just ready to chill with the poems.
So good. So
It's like
good.
you've got a beatboxing crew in the background just waiting to drop some sick beats. Whatever the kids do these days.
I know it's going to be really awkward, probably very inappropriate. It'll be. How do you look things up on the internet?
Go to Yahoo and then type Google.
You agent of chaos, Mike.
Can I read this poem, which I just flicked past and is really charming?
Of course.
And totally not in keeping with the theme.
Love that.
Free poem.
It's called Don't Be Literary, Darling. Don't be literary, darling. Don't be literary. If you're James in the morning, you're Hemingway in bed. Don't talk of yourself in the style of your own obituary, for who cares what they say of you after you're dead? Don't be always a thought ahead and a move behind, like a general reconnoitering dangerous ground. This is a game it's much better to enter blind, and the one who wins is the one who is caught and bound. If you can't be straight, then just say nothing instead. I'll know what you mean much better than if it was said.
I love that.
Yeah. I have exciting news.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow we're going on holiday and we will see a new place that is not within 3 miles of my house.
That's so exciting.
So exciting.
What's happening? Tell us more.
We've got an Airbnb and we're gonna bubble with our friends Jilly and Carrie, who are our couple best. They were at the shared best people at our wedding. So we're gonna bubble with them for a week and then be careful after for a while, but it'll be totally worth it.
Massive congratulations. I'm really happy for you.
Very excited. It'd be really nice to just kind of not be in this. I've never spent so long in the same place.
Yep. I feel you.
Yeah. Nick and Katie's house is the furthest I've been since I got back from Wolverhampton. That's a 10-mile cycle.
That's a good place to go. Don't get me wrong.
It is a good
So it's exciting to be going to a brand new place.
Yeah. And we will see my aunt and uncle and cousin live pretty on the way. Like where we're staying is just it's kind of just over the border into Wales near Chester, and my family is in Chester, so we're gonna see them for socially distanced garden times tomorrow lunchtime on our way down.
That sounds so gorgeous.
Yeah.
So
it's been a bit of an frantic, like pack the car up, try and get 2 bikes and a small car. Succeed in it, but neither bike has wheels and mine's lost a mudguard and its basket.
You're just sounding less like bicycles the more you describe it.
Yeah, you've filled your car with a series of short pieces of metal tube.
Bits of bicycle that will be able to be put together into a bicycle at the other end.
Are you going to do like a scrap heap challenge and just
as long
find
as we
bicycle
take
wheels on the way?
tools to put them back together?
I'm imagining like a little Fiat 500 now with 2 half bikes on the back, kind of tipping it up
Not
slightly.
far off. It's a Hyundai i10. It's got 5 doors, but only just.
Nick's looking at cars that we might buy. He wants a Toyota.
I hear they're fine vehicles.
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation. I'm so sorry.
You should get one with 4 wheels. That's
5. I've heard 5 wheels is good.
4 wheels on the car and 1 wheel inside the car somewhere.
I was thinking about being quite safe and going for 7.5 wheels.
Ooh.
Just in case. Yeah.
Is the half a wheel just like one whole wheel, but it's smaller, or is it like a half moon, like a crescent wheel?
We'll see.
Oof.
Get out.
I'll take myself out.
Hey, Robert.
Oh,
How you
I'm good
doing?
for a bit of silence a bit, but I'm good.
Taking us up on a poetical walk. Hi, Em.
Hey.
How are you doing, honey?
Pretty good. I'm not sure if what I was working on feels totally finished, but I'm excited that I have something that I'm ready to share.
I'm very excited to hear it. In fact, we have 3 people who are reading their own work tonight.
What?
So I am thoroughly excited about that. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Now, should we do some poetry?
Yeah.
Have some poetry time?
Yeah.
I think that feels like a good thing to do.
Amazing.
So, I hereby declare this meeting of Poetry Saturday open.
Have you got your gavel yet?
Ding ding. I haven't got a bang,
Oh.
bang bang.
Feel it.
Nobody, don't get me a gavel. Know what you like. I know how amazing you are. Don't get me a gavel. I can't be trusted.
Not even a sequined gavel?
Or like a really teeny tiny one that you could just like pretend to be a giant with.
I'm fine with my imaginary gavel. That's probably for the best.
Ooh.
So bang 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 bang. And first up, Mike, how would you feel about doing your poem? Mike has a self-penned poem for us, which I'm very excited.
Of course he does.
Okay, so this is called Rainbows. A rainbow spans more distance than we'll ever understand. Like the love between 2 friends set apart by sea and land. Sitting beneath the same great sky, we'll never be alone, with rainbows to remind us of the happiness we've known. So come and shelter with me and step in from all life's rain. Let's both stay safe and cozy till the sun shines once again. Things will return to normal once the current storm is through, when joyous bands of coloured light bring hope back into view. And if you find you're struggling, no matter what you try, I'll push out love and kindness in an arc across the sky. I'll send so many rainbows and be there to help you through, each one filled with love and hugs, beaming out from me to you.
You're the most wholesome.
Your writing is so freaking charming. Oh, I love it.
Right. That's so wholesome and cute that I might die.
Oh, thank you.
Mike, you are just lovely. You are just lovely. That's all.
You're all lovely too. I love you all.
I love you too. Okay. Right, no, let's save the loving until the end, otherwise this is going to get too emotional too fast. So, Bina, would you feel at all inclined to do one next?
Sure. So I have 2 that are slightly dark and one that isn't. And they're all Liz Berry because I I thought about reading other people, and then I was like, but I have 3 Liz Berry poems that fit the theme.
Mm-hmm. And Poetry Time is sponsored by Liz Berry and her publisher. So why would you vary from that?
I mean, the Carol Ann Duffy week was also pretty awesome.
That's true.
That is true.
Not sure there's a very short Mrs. Icarus that would fit the theme.
Oh, I'm doing an Icarus poem as well, so maybe we could do a combo. But let's do a Liz Berry one first.
Okay, do you want a slightly dark owl poem, a slightly dark moth poem, or a not so dark turning into a bird poem?
Let's have a dark one, because Mike's one was so lovely and happy, and I think we probably need to at least begin moving to a darker side. Otherwise, this is just going to be an incredibly wholesome session.
Normally bring the wholesome as well. Sorry, friends. Changing the tone. I will do the owl one if I can find it. Okay, it is called Owl. My body wakes with the constellations. Star by star in the stifling darkness, I glide over the dog-guarded houses, the cattle lowing in the moonlit kraal. A parcel of skin, teeth, bones, falls, a skeletal warning. I come with messages from the darkest place, an infant coughing blood in the village, a woman on the bed of the Ruru River, her eye sockets hollow, a fist printing a boy's face. I trouble the shadows with my morning song. Hoot, hoo, hoo, boo, hoo, hoo, hoo. They shot my love with a wooden arrow and nailed his white chest to the doorframe to drive me away. I drew closer. Shapeshifters conjured my body, and I welcomed their wickedness. I bore them into the dreaming houses, the beds of lovers, mothers nursing slumbering babies. I carried curses between my claws, drought in my beak, a fury. I plunged through the sultry blackness, over children with bows, to seek my love, his pitiful heart face, the shape of sorrow. Sorry for the tone.
Wowzers. Oh, Bina. Oh, Liz.
No. Well, how is everything she writes so incredible?
She's just very good, I think.
Practice?
That's just it. I think she's just good. I have a vaguely related, sort of bird-adjacent one.
I have many bird poems. Like, you chose the theme. I started going through this book 10 minutes ago, and this is how many I found that are relevant.
Okay. We may need to like interlard our bird poems with other poems.
Mine is like partial bird, partial not bird, so it could be a good like segue out of bird.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, can I do my bird one? And you do your one, and then Gordon, how would you feel about doing your one? Just really, let's get our shit racked up. Cool. So, this one is like it's a classic. Like I think probably most people will know it, but it is just very beautiful. It's "Returning We Hear the Larks" by Isaac Rosenberg. And if you ever studied war poetry at school, then you'll probably know this one. Sombre the night is, and though we have our lives, we know what sinister threat lurks there. Dragging these anguished limbs, we only know this poison-blasted track opens on our camp, on a little safe sleep. But hark, joy, strange joy. Lo, heights of night ringing with unseen larks, music showering on our upturned listening faces. Death could drop from the dark as easily as song, but song only dropped. like a blind man's dreams on the sand by dangerous tides, like a girl's dark hair, for she dreams no ruin lies there, or her kisses where a serpent hides. There we go. That's
What is that? World War II poetry or World War One poetry?
Oh, I think it's World War One. It's in my head that it's World War One, but I would need to check.
I haven't heard it before, but definitely did like World War One at A level and had like a lot of that poetry in my head. But maybe I've just lost it. It's been a while.
Maybe it's. I'll have a quick look. I feel like
maybe it wasn't included.
Yeah, possibly. I'll have a look.
Hi, Michael.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Michael.
Hey.
Oh, Michael, do you have poems to do tonight?
No, afraid not.
That is absolutely fine, just so I know whether or not to put you in the list. If anything occurs to you, just wave.
Okay.
Em, would you like to do yours next?
Yeah. Cool. It doesn't really have a title yet. Mike Cox's Always Writing for the Theme inspired me to try to write for the theme, and I tried today, and then something happened. So yeah, this is the thing. When life is up in the air, I wish I could say I was like an albatross and felt strong and steady, with few needs to pause. Depending on the day, I feel like anything from leaves, desperately clinging with attachment to the only roots they've ever known, feeling a storm building and crashing around them, to a cloud hanging in the sky, lost in thought, yet full of possibility, being one step closer to the stars, basking in the warmth of the sun, or simmering until my feelings begin to boil over, waiting for my direction to be decided for me by surrounding forces, rather than using the powers of my own.
Yeah. Yeah. Gorgeous.
I love that. That was fab.
So talented. You're also goddamn talented.
As you.
So, Gordon, would you be at all interested in doing yours next, Mama?
Yep. Just to let you know, I've written another very short one, which is maybe more suitable for later because it's ridiculous and also a bit weird. I've got a very short one that I found that has the word air in it that's not mine, but I like it. I sent it to you many months ago. It's about a queen of air and darkness, but I'll do the jump one just now if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
okay.
please.
So this is like earlier, I don't know when it was. Yeah, a few weeks ago, I tried to write a story and it turned into a poem. So this is me trying to write a poem, and it might be more of a tiny story, but I'm going to read it poetically. Hopefully it works. It's called Jump. You're wearing your fog boots at the edge of the cloud. Behind you is known, studied, familiar. Wisps of wet candy floss that stick to your hair in the same way it has forever. Ahead of you is another cloud, full of rain and possibility. Jump. The first jump is thrilling, though you waited long enough to see that others from your cloud could do it. Running through the sky, air from your lungs blasting against the wind that's pushing you back, blood thumping around your body as you jump. The moments hanging between the clouds are so short, but live remembered for so long. The landing is tough, but somehow doesn't stick in the mind. This is a new cloud filled with fresh, wet air and people who jumped from far away. They are wonderful, these people, and you love them. And then too quickly, much too quickly, the cloud is fading and it's time to jump. Hanging in between. Is it time to look down yet? No, not yet. Another tough landing that doesn't stick in the mind. Another fresh cloud, this one full of the rumbles and flashes and a million people. A few you know from before, but most are from far away and are magical and maybe not even people at all. You love them all for who they are. You feel the change, the power under your feet. Is it time to move on or stay for the shock? And it is a shock. You know that the fog boots don't last forever. You've seen people leap and the boots that kept them on solid cloud fall with nothing below but air. Too late, you wonder if it's lightning that ruins boots when the energy hits you like a bolt from the grey. It crackles through straightened limbs, jaws clenched shut, sweat pouring over eyes that can't be shut. A moment only, a lifetime. You see others who survive too. And then you gather and talk and shout and weep and sing. And you hold hands and run and you run and you run and then you jump. The landing doesn't stick in the mind. But you're familiar enough with change, and so when other lightning survivors eventually leap away to other clouds, you stay here. This is a good cloud, puffy and warm, hearty and wholesome. But in the end, everyone you know has gone, and you're ready to move on. It's time to jump. The clouds seem to be getting smaller. It would be easy to look down, but no, not yet. Quickly, another jump. Sunrise and sunsets are when the clouds show off. And you make sure to get up early to catch the beauty. You think back to those moments where you're suspended between clouds, held still by memory, the open expanse above and below. This cloud floats far from the others, and an age passes with no one leaving or arriving. One day you're startled as someone lands from a cloud above you and you realize the wandering cloud has returned to its flock. It's been so long, you're not sure if you even remember how to jump. The landing is painful. You remember that. This cloud is full of people who don't speak your language. It's hard to learn theirs, so you speak less and think more. You get up early. You revel in the red sun. Then, just at the edge of leaping distance, you see another cloud and people who you think you know. It's hard to tell in this light, and your boots feel old. This cloud is safe, if cold. There are no shocks, no storms. Here you can ponder and watch and listen and pick at your worn boots. Impossible to know if these boots can still leap between the clouds. Impossible to know if you can still leap to that place with the people that you think you might know. Impossible, impossible, impossible to know unless you run. Knowing the landing will be painful whatever happens, trusting your fog boots that have never let you down yet, never yet, even though it only has to happen once. The other cloud suddenly seems so far away, and maybe that's just a trick of the light. Maybe it will all turn out beautifully. Maybe. You reach the edge of the cloud and don't look down.
Very good.
Gordon.
Oh.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
That was incredibly captivating.
Yeah.
It may have been sneakily a short story, but I'm not sure. I felt as good.
It was very, very good. And like short stories can be poetry, definitely.
I think Roald Dahl proved that very easily.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
I actually have two that I would potentially like. One is a very like short little one, and one is another one that I would quite like to do as a pair that I think might follow on quite well from that. Would that be all right? And then Katie, would you be at all interested in doing a one?
Yeah.
Cool. So the first of mine is just a little one. It's called The Swing, and it's by Marchette Chute. The wind blows strong and the swing rides free, and up in the swing is me, and the world goes rushing by. And one of these days I'll swing so far, I'll go way up where the seabirds are and plant my feet on the sky. Just think is lovely, which is from Cup of Starshine, which is the one that I sent Bina. And so the other one that I would like to do is by Andrew Michael Roberts, and it's called Trapeze Swinger. And sprung now feverishly from its perch, as if it loves this alone, a body becomes a tattooed bird, a bullet released, a melancholy arc ascending, vanishing above the dangling lights where its zenith awaits, where for an instant it slips soundlessly into weightlessness and inhabits it like a secret, hovering there, planetary, infinite, alone, until gravity gathers and feather and bone fall away again, faltering, centripetal, meteoric, uncurling just as a collective breath is caught below and strung across the silence like a net. And we are all saved.
Wow.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yes.
Really nice.
So, Katie, would you like to do one?
I would. Just trying to work out which one, because I haven't actually read any of these. Let's have a very short one about an eagle, and then potentially another one about a falcon, if that works. There are several about falcons. So this is called The Eagle. It's by Tennyson. He clasps the crag with crooked hands, close to the sun in lonely lands, ringed with the azure world he stands. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls, he watches from his mountain walls, and like a thunderbolt he falls.
So goddamn good.
So good.
So goddamn good.
Let's go for this one. This is by Tom Gunn, who is apparently from Hampstead. It's called Tamer and Hawk. I thought I was so tough, but gentle that your hands cannot be quick enough to fly for you and show that when I go at your commands. Even in flight above, I am no longer free. You sealed me with your love. I am blind to other birds. The habit of your words has hooded me. As formerly I wheel, I hover and I twist, but only want the feel in my possessive thought of catcher and of caught upon your wrist. You but half civilized, taming me in this way. Through having only eyes for you, I fear to lose. I lose to keep and choose tamer as prey.
I love that. I love that. Like, I love Tom Gunn anyway, but I don't know that one.
Now.
Thanks, Katie. Speaking of hawks and birds and such like, I know that we do have like various bird ones, and that this is not specifically a bird themed thing, but Michael Kenny. Do you know The Wind Hover by Gerard Manley Hopkins?
Wind Hover.
That was one of the other ones that I picked out.
Was
so I would
it?
love to hear Michael read it.
I just think, like, if you fancied having a little look at it, Michael, and just see if you don't fancy it, then no problem. But I think that you would potentially read it beautifully. And
I'll have a look.
Awesome.
So we can't go a poetry time without being like, can you read us a poem that you guys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of the beautifully voiced Scottish people here. Can you read something in your beautiful voice that you've never seen before?
Oh, I have one about bagpipes. Can we do like a music theme?
Absolutely, we can.
And then Michael can read one about bagpipes for me.
quick interlude. I was hoping that, so I am going to visit Martin in Edinburgh next weekend, which I'm very, very excited about. And I was hoping that somebody might volunteer to host next week for me, so that I can go and have dinner with my sweetie.
I would be more than happy to.
Would you be happy to? That would be really lovely. Yeah. So you could maybe do a musical theme next week if you were interested.
I could.
It's your show. You can pick the theme.
Would you like to extend your stay in Edinburgh and spend a day in Glasgow where we can all descend upon you outside?
Don't wait.
We definitely have the highest concentration of storytimers in the entire world.
No, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, Frodo. I will have to see what my work situation is, but that I have, the thought has not occurred to me. But poetry. This is poetry time. Bina, would you be interested in doing another of yours next?
Sure. Would you like the dark one or the lighter one?
Dealer's choice. Which do you fancy?
I'll do the other dark one and then we can finish with the slightly more uplifting one. This is called Babola. It's part of the Republic of Motherhood, which is like this tiny collection of poems about motherhood. I've just realized the one before this is called Skybirth, and I haven't read it, but I'll maybe have a read through. But yeah, this one is a Babola is a moth. Darkling herald, see her flower face on a waning moon, and spake her name aloud, to conjure the voice of one ye loved and let slip through the winged gauze of death. In the owl light, when loneliness shines through your bones like a bare bulb, she'll come for you, little Psyche, bringing missives from the murmuring dark. She comes to all the night birds, cuckoos, thieves, the old uns, and the babbies in their dim-lit wombs, the boy riding his bike up Beacon Hill, heart thundering like a strange summer storm, and the messages she carries in her slow, soft flight, too tender to speak of, too heart-sore, but this, I am waiting. The love that lit the darkness between us has not been lost.
I just love that so much. That bit about being a little Psyche. And
that last line.
I'm gonna have to get me some goddamn Liz Berry. It's just gonna have to happen. Thank you very much, Lena. Hi, Malcolm. Also, hi, sweetie. Gordon. So first, Michael, did you have a look at that? Yeah. And if you did, would you be at all interested in it?
Yeah, I can give it a go.
Also, Gordon, that poem made me think of the one that you mentioned, the one about the Queen of Air and Night, Fire and Air and Night, and Fire and have I got that? Is that sort of vaguely tonally or thematically similar?
That's the one I was thinking of.
That's the one you were thinking of?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Are we thinking of the same poem? I'm not sure.
You mean the one that Bina's just read is the one you were thinking of?
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry, yeah, that poem. Yeah.
Yes. So how would you feel about doing that one now? Do you think that that would go nicely after this? And then maybe Michael could do the Windhover?
A very short one.
Yes.
Okay. I only have a picture of this one, so I'm not sure what the title is, but her strong enchantments failing, her towers of fear and wreck, her limbecks dried of poison, and the knife at her back. The queen of air and darkness begins to shrill and cry, "O young girl, O my slayer, tomorrow you shall die." O queen of air and darkness, I think 'tis truth you say, and I shall die tomorrow, but you will die today.
Michael, would you be happy to do the wind hover now?
Yeah, happy and nervous. I think this is it's interesting. I've not heard of Jared Manley Hopkins before. Sounds cool. So as a Jesuit from my Googling there. It starts off, "To Christ our Lord." I caught this morning morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's dauphin, dapple dawn-drawn falcon, in his riding of the whole rolling level underneath him, steady air and striding. High there, how he hung upon the rein of the wimpling wing, in his ecstasy, then off, forth on a swing, as a skate's heel sweeps smooth on a blow blend. The hurl and gliding rebuffed the big wind. My heart in hiding stirred for a bird, the achiever, the mastery of the thing. Brute beauty and valor and act, oh air, pride, plume here, buckle, and the fire that breaks from thee, and then a billion times told lovelier, more dangerous, so my chevalier. No wonder if it. Sheer plod makes plough down Cillian shine and blue beak embers, ah my dear, fall, gall themselves, and gash gold vermilion.
Oh, good. You broke Frankie.
Oh.
You get points.
Oh, I'm glad you appreciated it. It's lovely. Yeah.
Can I read an adorable one which is also about falcons?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it'll make you feel better? It's called The Falcon to the Falconer. Unleash me from your hand, and I will lance the light for you. I'll cut a sword blade on the wind and pennant it with flight for you, to signal I am yours, if you will free me to be true to you. Unleash me from your hand, and I will mock the sky for you. I'll pull the anger from the air and make the breezes sigh for you, to show that I am yours, if you will free me to be true to you. Unleash me from your hand, and I will jewel it bright for you. I'll hunt the treasures of the wind and pluck them into sight for you, to show that I am yours, if you will free me to be true to you. Oh, cast me from your hand, that I may show my love for you, and throw me to the wind, that I may know my need for you. All darkness on your hand, am hooded, pinned, and held by you. Oh, give me back my wings, that they may bring me back to you.
Oh, swoon. Swoon.
Is it the way you read these, or is it the choice? I don't know, but it's every time it's like.
It's definitely good.
I actually still have tasting notes from when we were talking about the flavors of Scottish voices of poetry at Storytime for Katie. And if anybody else has ideas or thoughts of what Katie's voice would taste like.
Oh my God, like ripe peaches.
Yeah.
Height of summer, like proper ripe, like fragrant, beautiful, juicy peaches. For sure. Eaten outside. Yeah.
Like in the shade on a sunny day, like where you can still feel the sun on your skin, kind of.
Definitely. And like not with anything, like no like picking cream or ice cream or anything, just like the goddamn peach. And it goes everywhere. Like it's like from here to here by the time you finished.
But it's so good that you just don't even care and keep eating it anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Bollocks to it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
This dress can be burned. It doesn't matter.
I love you.
So, poetry. That's what we're here for. Shush you, Malcolm.
He's not even muted.
Does anybody have another one that they would like to? Oh, I have a potential one that is sort of a sky that I think is quite nice. Could I do that? And then Bina, would you maybe like to do another Liz Berry one?
Sky birth is mostly about birth and only a tiny bit about the sky, but it does look incredible.
Well, we could maybe have it. It sounds like we might have a little bit of a poetic coda at the end of this, after the official up in the air theme is over. So maybe we could have that one, or maybe we could do like a children and childbirth theme in the future.
I just read this from the back.
Yeah.
Okay, so
anytime that sky is mentioned, you just go, and though the sky, and something, just like really emphasize the sky part.
Yeah, exactly. Just put the word sky in, like at the end of every other line. No, we won't know. We trust you.
This is a bit of a weird departure for Liz Berry. It seems like not really like her other poems. It's a bit more experimental. What's going on with that?
Okay, so this one is by Jamie McKendrick, and it's called Sky Nails. That first day to break me in, my hardened comrades sent me scampering like a marmoset from the topmost parapet to the foreman's hut for a bag of sky nails. The foreman wondered which precise shade of blue I had in mind. It's still sky nails I need today, with their faint threads and unbreakable heads that will nail anything to nothing and make it stay. Interesting, that's quite lovely.
Thanks.
I wanted more story. More about the sky nails.
More about the sky nails. Well, maybe
I want him to find the tartan paint.
Maybe over to Gordon. Gordon, do you fancy at some point expanding on the theme of the sky nails? I feel like that's.
I do. This one is. Oh, what was that?
I feel like the idea of sky nails is something that you could definitely create something wonderful around, story-wise.
I mean, I could tell you where sky nails originally come from.
Oh my god. Okay, in the coda, yes, I definitely want that.
Do you want the poem first?
Poem first.
Okay, here's the poem. Okay, it's called The Window. My mother kept pushing me out of the window. My room was not on the ground floor, and though there were bushes directly beneath my window, they only softened the landing. They didn't stop it from hurting. Mum, I could have been killed. Stop doing that. You'll never learn to fly with that attitude. I was told that once a day, or that you should look up into the sky 7 times a day, for at least a minute each time. I mostly did that when I was outside, but often I would be staring out of the window when my mother would sneak up behind me and shove me out. Mom, I'm not a bird. Is this your way of telling me to leave and find a place of my own? If so, can I respectfully ask that you just use words? You can stay here as long as you want, my darling. Sitting drinking tea, shoved out a window. On an important call to a friend, pushed into the bushes from above. Lost in a book, defenestrated for the last time. Mum, that's it, I've had enough. I only do it because I love you. Late that night, after everyone else had gone to bed, I quietly packed my most precious belongings. I took a deep breath, then stepped out of the window and flew away.
Oh my God.
Did you write that? It's such a important story.
So good.
Thank you so much. Was that after? Wait, was that after?
Yeah, it made me
The call
laugh
this
so.
morning. So we had a call this morning, and during the course of the call, I confessed to Gordon that my mother had a habit of pushing me out of the second floor window of my house. I don't know where this came from. I'm sort of glad to hear that you were inspired to write after that conversation, rather than just like your life is haunted by women whose mothers push them out of second store windows on the regs.
I don't know why I found it so funny, but it's just your mum's so lovely. just like.
I mean, I can't stay here forever. She's got to get rid of me somehow. Actually, that has reminded me of one poem that I can't believe that I had forgotten in relation to this theme. Would I be able to do that? And then, Bina, could we do your... Would that be okay? It's too thematically perfect. Can't not. So this is by Conrad Hilberry, and it's called Storm Window. At the top of the ladder, a gust catches the glass, and he is falling. He and the whole window topple backwards like a piece of deception slowly coming undone. After an instant of terror, he feels easy, as though he were a boy falling back on his own bed. For years, he has clamped his hands on railings, balanced against the pitch of balconies and cliffs and fire towers. For years, he has feared falling. At last, he falls. Still holding the frame, he sees the sky and trees come clear in the wavering glass. In another second, the pane will shatter over his whole length, but now he lies back on air, falling.
Oh.
Right?
Yes.
So relevant. So relevant. Now, Bina and Liz.
I'm going to do Bird, which is the first one in the collection, and I think only Mike has heard it before. When I became a bird, Lord, nothing could not stop me. The air feathered as I knelt by my open window for the charm, black on gold, last star of the dawn. Singing they came, throstles, jenny wrens, jack squallers swinging their anchors through the clouds. My heart beat like a wing. I shed my nightdress to the drowning arms of the dark, my shoes to the sun's widening mouth. Bared, I found my bones hollowing to slender pipes, my shoulder blades tufting down. I spread my flight-greedy arms to watch my fingers dueling like 10 hummingbirds, my feet callousing to knuckly claws as my lips calcified to a hooked kiss. Silence. Then an exultation of larks filled the clouds, and in my mother's voice chorused, "Take flight, chick, go far for the winter." So I left girlhood behind me like a blue egg, and stepped off from the window ledge. How light I was, as they lifted me up from wren's nest, bore me over the edgelands of concrete and coal. I saw my grandmother waving up from her fode, looped the infant school and factory, let the zephyrs carry me out to the coast. Loon as I flew, battered and tuneless, the storms turned me inside out like a fury. There wasn't one small part of my body didn't bawl, until I felt it at last, the rush of squall thrilling my wing, and I knew my voice was no longer words but song, black upon black. I raised my throat to the wind, and this is what I sang.
Yeah.
Wow.
I loved that when I saw it found it in the book. It was really good.
God, that's
So good to hear it being read.
you read it so beautifully as well.
I love how you read, Bina.
Actually, I've just sent you, Bina. I've sent you. Would you be open to a request?
Oh, I make enough Scottish requests of other people. Like, almost every time I come to Poetry, I'm like, there's this really cool Scottish poem, but it won't sound right in my voice.
What goes around comes around.
Yeah, I've sent you a link.
Okay.
How would you feel about reading that? I think it would be, so it's Rain Towards Morning by Elizabeth Bishop, if anyone knows that. And I just think that it would sound really lovely in your voice, and it also is kind of vaguely thematically related.
Do you want it yam yam or like my actual voice?
Could I have it in your actual voice?
That's slightly easier.
Thanks, Bina.
Do you want it now or later?
Can I have it now, please?
Yes, I haven't really. I've skimmed it, but I don't think it has any difficult words, so it may be okay.
I like how you requested it in your Matilda voice, Frankie.
Maybe that's just like the voice that I secretly use to get what I want.
Alan says I have that voice. It's extra nice. He also says sometimes if I have like a request for someone in person, I will like do a little bounce as I walk up to them to ask them for something.
I don't think I've seen you do it, but I can imagine it so clearly in my head. Like, I can picture it exactly, the thing that you would do. Very cute. I think probably quite effective.
All right, Rain Towards Morning. The great light cage has broken up in the air, freeing, I think, about 1 million birds, whose wild ascending shadows will not be back, and all the wires come falling down. No cage, no frightening birds. The rain is brightening now. The face is pale that tried the puzzle of their prison and solved it with an unexpected kiss, whose freckled, unsuspected hands are lit. So nice.
Beautiful.
That was lovely. So now we are getting towards the end of, I think, our sort of allotted official poetry time. Does anybody else have any burning up in the air poems that they would like to read?
If you do Icarus, I'll do Mrs. Icarus, which is only about 5 lines.
That sounds good. We could do our Icarus combo. Katie, did you say you have one, sweetie?
No, I was requesting the Icarus combo.
Yes. Cool. So I will do. So this is by. Who is this by? This by Christine Hemp. I think this is by Christine Hemp, and it's called Icarus. It was his idea, this flying thing. We collected feathers at night, stuffing our pockets with morning dove down. By day, would weave and glue them with the wax I stole after we chewed the bees away. Oh, how it felt finally to blow off Crete, leaving a labyrinth of dead ends. My clumsiness with figures, father's calm impatience, cool logic, interminable devising. The sea wind touched my face like balm. He thought I'd tag along as usual in the wake of his careful scheme, bound by the string connecting father and son, invisible thread I tried for years to untie. I ached to be a good for something on my own. I didn't know I'd get drunk with the heat, flying high, too much a sun to return. Poor Daedalus, his mouth an O below, his hands outstretched to catch the rain of wax. He still doesn't know. My wings fell, yes. I saw him hover over the tiny splash. But by then I'd been swallowed into Jove's eye, the light I've come to see as home, drowning in the yes, this swirling white hot where night will never find me. And now, when my father wakes each morning, his bones still sore from his one-time flight, his confidence undone because the master plan fell through, he rises to a light he never knew, his son.
That's such a good take on that. I'm just gonna ruin it. I'm so sorry.
Ruin away. I'm here for that.
This actually reminded me that I have a poem about Atlas that's like very loose on theme that could be like a bonus poem or after chat poem if people want to hear it. But again, after.
I definitely want to hear it, but also for a future theme. We've done kind of like fantastical creatures and things, but I would really like to do kind of takes on legends. So like Atlas, Icarus, Medusa, like named legends as opposed to just like fairies or mermaids or what have you. So you could
say, hey, every single poem in this book.
Yes, it will mostly be a night of Bina reading out The World's Wife first by other people doing. I wonder if we could work it so that you did like each of the poems from The World's Wife in like in companionship with poems from other poets about the
same. I mean, I would have thought it would be pretty possible. Apart from maybe, I feel like there's a poem in here about the Moors murderers, and maybe that it hasn't been written about by many poets.
Possibly. But you know, we've got some time. But for now, would you like to do Mrs. Icarus?
Sure, it is. It is only 5 lines. I'm not the first or the last to stand on a hillock, watching the man she married prove to the world he's a total, utter, absolute grade A pillock. Sorry, Frankie's version of that story was so nice and beautiful.
Perfect. That was, I think, potentially the perfect ending to, you know, this official session. That was fucking great. So, bang, 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 bang. I hereby close this up in the air theme of Poetry Saturday. Thank you all for coming and being poetical. We do have at least one bonus after poem. So there is a request from. Oh, hi, Robert.
Hello.
Hello.
Just seeing you all tucked up in bed. Very cute.
Is this where we wave at the catch-up crew?
Oh, should we stop the recording? I think we usually stop the recording when the official theme ends, don't we? Okay, sorry, catch-up crew.
Sorry, catch-up crew.
You'll probably hear it when we do nameless anyways.
We love you. Good night.
The catch-up crew.
Bye.